Welcome everybody to a fabulous afternoon. Did you know that 1 in 8 Australians are carers? There are carers everywhere, and usually it can affect anyone, anytime, and at some point in our life we are either going to be a carer or we're going to be cared for. Carers are very much within the workplaces across the state and across the country, and it's important for us to think about ways that we can support and recognise and acknowledge carers wherever they are.
Where are the carers? Who are the carers in the room? I think you are amazing. Absolutely amazing people, all of you. And the one thing that I've learnt after my father had a massive stroke in 2009, which was a complete shock to our family, is that caring for the carers is actually really, really important. I really think carers in our community are underestimated, and I think it's about time you were recognised for all of the work that you do, and I think it's about time you were put on the map, and I think it's about time the community started thinking about caring for carers. About 6 months after Dad had a stroke, my new partner's son was diagnosed with a brain tumour. So we had a weird situation where we were dealing with a double whammy of, at that stage, a 5-year-old boy with a brain tumour and a man who'd been really, really healthy in his 60s with a completely debilitating stroke. So I've seen caring from a few different angles. You know, I think there are so many different messages that we can get out there about caring and what's needed in the community. I think it's really, really important. So that's why I'm here today. Marion Henry, who's here today, wrote me a letter about her experience of stroke. Now, Marion's a pretty amazing woman. She was diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2001. Her husband David had a stroke in 2006.
I was once very proud of saying that there wasn't a practical bone in my body. And then David had a stroke. And all of a sudden I found myself having to learn practical things. It's been a wonderful change in many ways. I've learnt to be less selfish. I've learnt that there are people in the world other than me. It's been hard, but rewarding in the best sense of the word.
To caring of a different type, caring for a child. This is Cheryl Kearney, and her son Jonathan was hit by a car when he was 12 years old. Cheryl, you were, like a lot of people in this room, just thrust into a caring role. Were you at all prepared for it?
There's no way you can be prepared for having your life turn, upside down in a split second like that.
So what is the best thing about being a carer?
The knowledge that I am doing the single most important worthwhile job in the world, that there is nothing else that matters more than enhancing the health and the happiness of someone that you love.
Barbara's 22. She's studying at university, and she's pretty much looked after a mum who has kidney failure. She's dealt with strokes, seizures, renal dialysis, all sorts of things that I could imagine are not necessarily part of most people's childhood.
In many ways, I think on a personal level, the hardest part would be trying to find yourself and find a balance between your caring role and pursuing your dreams and your achievements, because it's hard for carers anyway, but under the age of 26. What kind of worldly experience do you have to be able to deal with that kind of stuff?
This is Gillian Helfgott. She is the wife and carer of world-renowned pianist David Helfgott, whose story we all got to know in the movie Shine, which I have to say was one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. Give me some of the history of you and David.
Well, I can do that very quickly. I met him on the 30th of November 1983 at 1:15 p.m. in Perth.
Wow, that's precise.
I was just stunned by the brilliance of the man, and David had really a lot of health challenges at that time. I don't think many people who've been married for 30 years could say they'd never had a boring day. And I tell you, I'm ready for a boring day. I'm David's carer by choice. I married him knowing that he needed care. It's not something that was thrust on me. I think the work that the carers do, and most of them have far more physical challenges with the people they're caring for than I do. And I think they're the salt of the earth. And I'm going to cry because you move me so much. Where would this country be if it weren't for the carers? And we've got to support it in every way we can because they are just... Oh, sorry, but I'm an emotional Sagittarian.
Gillian Helfgott, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
David will play 4 pieces. The first is the Waltz in E minor by Chopin. The second is the Hungarian Rhapsody number 15 by Franz Liszt. The third piece is the Paganini Etude number 3 for La Campanella. And he'll finish up with a very noisy sabre dance by Khachaturian.
I hope everyone has had a fantastic afternoon, and I hope that's given you a bit of a better idea about what it is to be a carer, how many carers there are in New South Wales, and how Carers New South Wales might be able to assist carers or carers within your workplace.